Hello, my name is Johnathan Spencer. We're back at it with another video. This time we have Elijah again. And we have
Christian.
We're at Elijah's house. We're going to be talking about celebrities that use their fame for bad, P. Diddy, Tyler Perry, stuff like that. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And while you're down there, hit the bell.
Yeah, hit the bell. Today I'm coming at you with probably the most talked about rapper in the world, P. Diddy Combs. I know, talked about quite often, but he is quite corrupt, and there's been some quite dashing news to come out about him recently, with his charges being dropped and everything. So without further ado, let's start at the very start with the audio from the 1990 Diddy parties.
Kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable, kids, because after that, y'all gotta go. It's a wrap for y'all, because this thing turns into something that when y'all get older, y'all don't want to come to, okay? So, let's just start to get our groove on a little bit. Then an hour, we put the kids away, it's all good. All right, DJ, let's hit it. Let's do it.
That audio is from the 1990 Diddy parties, whenever Diddy was first getting popular as a producer. Diddy was very clearly, from the very start, having, freaky time with the people at his parties, and that was very known for a long time, that his parties were the place to be because you were probably going to get laid. And this was so well known that even news outlets were covering it. Let me show you this. This was an inside look at the 2000s Diddy parties.
For the next 53 seconds, we'll take an in-depth look inside Diddy parties.
Diddy once threw a party on a jet flying around the world. Now, it started on a Tuesday and somehow ended on the previous Sunday. I don't know how he did that.
Now that I'm engaged, I've decided to slow down a little. 3 Diddy parties a week. Maybe 4. Well, not including the weekends.
Well, I remember one day we went to this Diddy party. Well, what happened? Lil Jon forgot his pimp cup. Yep. D-Rock went to Diddy and asked if he had a pimp cup Lil Jon can borrow.
Man, he had a whole bunch of pimp cups.
He had a pimp set.
It's hard to say which is more off the hook. A Diddy party or a Diddy after party. Or a Diddy after party.
Or a Diddy after party, or the pre-party, like Christian just said. That was kind of funny, Christian, thank you. And all I'm saying is, this lady's talking about how she's attending 6 Diddy parties a week, and how she had to slow down, which I mean includes taking 1 day off from the Diddy parties for the person she's engaged to. If you're getting that freaky to a point you can't stop messing around at a Diddy party, it's a problem, it's an addiction. So this people had it hooked. And as that guy said, he had a party that started on, Friday, and it lasted until Sunday, and it was on a plane. How does one even, acquire a party like that? And not only that, is he said he couldn't recall how that happened. So clearly they were all drugged up on this plane for an entire weekend. And how they didn't run out of jet fuel beats me. And you hear Lil Jon or Lil Wayne, whoever the heck that was, talking about how he forgot his pimp cup, and Diddy gave him a pimp cup because Diddy was, trafficking and, having women get paid for sex in his house. Now, this obviously isn't somebody you want to have around children, and I mean, in the first audio, you hear him talking about how the kids have to go away, so I don't know if these people were getting babysitters or just leaving their kids on the side of the road, but this isn't somebody you want to have around your kids. So let me show you a clip where he spends 24 hours with a kid.
Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream, and we gonna go full, buck full crazy, buck full crazy, buck full crazy.
A 15-year-old's dream. What's a 15-year-old's dream? When I was 15 years old, I was gooning all day. That's a 15-year-old's dream, and Diddy knows that. I mean, he's talking about going butt full crazy. What does butt full crazy mean? Does that mean he's going to fill his butt? What is going on in this clip? There's obviously something sketchy going on. This is, Diddy we're talking about. People knew Diddy wasn't that great of a guy for a long time. So the fact that it took this long for these charges that I'm about to pop up on screen to exist is crazy. Combs, 55 years old, was arrested in September and charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He has pled not guilty. I also want to mention another charge that he had was arson, but it got dropped, and I will talk about that in a second. All of this evidence paints a clear picture of how the defendant committed crimes. Slavic told the courtroom, up until today, he was able to get away with it because of his money, his power, and his influence. To me, this shows how corrupt Diddy was and how powerful he was really in America in general. The fact that he was able to do this is insane. There's mountains upon mountains of evidence, which I will show you in a second, the pictures of all the baby oil, which is crazy. The absurd amount of baby oil he had in his house.
The director to apply the baby oil on herself or onto me, you know, just all very specific directions. Everything was, yeah.
Like very orchestrated by him.
Yeah, you know,
yeah.
His show. Mostly he'd be watching. When he would do something, it would be like after I would be finished, you know, like I would finish my thing and then he would come in, do his thing with her, and I would kind of retire to the living room, have another drink, smoke some more, and then I guess interchange whenever they...
Not only is there clearly pictures and evidence of the absurd amount of baby oil that is used, but there is a man talking about how he would literally cuck Diddy, and Diddy would orchestrate, you know, putting baby oil on a woman and that dude, and, you know, watching them do their thing. And then he would go in afterwards, oh, that is so gross, that is so STD ridden, oh, it's like STI Central, that's, And Sean Diddy Combs was quite the party man. He had a lot of famous people show up to these parties, such as LeBron James. I'm sure you know the famous clip right here.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so...
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
Now, I'm very curious to know if LeBron James was the cucked or the cuck-e. I wonder if he was cucking Diddy or if Diddy was cucking him. Because they are very excited. They're very excited about this prostitution chant they're doing right here. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Yeah, yeah. Now, you may wonder what came of this. You know, he has all these charges and he's been having all these freak-offs. Freak-offs, bro. It's a crazy name. What came of this? Has he been charged? Is he in jail? What's happening? And I'll show you. Daily Mail says Diddy scores huge victory as prosecutors drop key parts of charges, which this would have been his arson, his sex trafficking, and there was one other one, and I can't quite remember it, but this lady will explain it to you in 1 second.
So let me get this straight. After months of building the most explosive celebrity sex trafficking case in recent memory, federal prosecutors just dropped the kidnapping, arson, and aiding sex trafficking charges against Sean Diddy Combs right before closing arguments.
Now, if you were wondering what Diddy did to get arson charges, he blew up Kid Cudi's car. And I don't know if I can show pictures of Kid Cudi's blown up car on YouTube, but it's kind of crazy, and he got that dropped, even though he very clearly did that. Now, after going over everything I could find on the Diddy case, on TikTok anyways, not the most useful or trustworthy source, but everything I could find on TikTok, you might wonder what comes of everything that Diddy has done. And the answer to that is memes upon memes. I'll show you 2 in a row, back to back, right here.
This is absurd. I feel like P. Diddy with fur.
I got caught this time in that. This shit ain't no joke, guys. The rumors are real.
I tried to run, but the oil, it made me slide back in. My cheeks are sore.
No, I do really heavily dislike AI, but this one was kind of funny, and I enjoyed it, so I'll let it pass. This singular AI video gets a pass in my book because it's about the Diddy freak-offs. Now, I'm just about done talking about Diddy, so I'm going to pass it over to Christian so he can talk about... Who are you talking about, Christian?
Donald Trump.
Donald J. Trump.
Hi, this is Christian, and I'm going to be talking about Donald J. Trump and his misuse of government and political powers, of like how he uses stuff. As you can see in this example, Donald Trump has paid off a porn star and made her sign NDA agreements, so like she doesn't talk about anything he paid her to do beforehand. In this picture, it talks about how the money he used was taxpayer money, and that he was just writing it off so he didn't have to pay anything and all that. This is the way that Donald Trump is corrupt, and that he uses his power, it's like, to get away with things he does by just covering it up and paying it off so he doesn't get in trouble at all. Now for the next example I'm going to show is going to be how Donald Trump is the first U.S. president to be convicted of any felony crimes, and how he wasn't charged with anything. This shows that Donald Trump had 34 felonies and that he was not arrested or anything. He just had to pay fines. He didn't have any major consequences to what he did. He uses his political power to escape any major backlash of his career, so he doesn't get any trouble and so he doesn't get arrested, so he can further make his career better. And this next news article is going to be a more current event about him bombing Iran without approval from Congress. In this news article, it's wondering if it's constitutional that he bombed Iran without consulting Congress first. The whole point of the Constitution is so that power-hungry people don't have all the power, and so they can't just start wars without anything, like any approval or anything. They need other people's.
That's literally what the vice president's for, too.
Yeah, they need other people to, we need Congress, the other branches to help out everything. It's not just supposed to be one single person.
Judicial, legislative, and everything.
Exactly. In my opinion, he shouldn't be able to do this without any approval whatsoever, because this is unconstitutional, so you should have to have approval of other people to make sure it's not just one-sided. In my opinion, I think he shouldn't be impeached since it's unconstitutional that he's doing anything without Congress's approval.
Guilty on all counts. Donald J. Trump, the 45th president of the United States, was found guilty late today in a New York courthouse on all 34 counts of falsifying business records to conceal payments to a porn star just before the 2016 election.
I think we should take account all these things that he did before the election, since if he did this before the election, what is he doing during the presidency? He's probably doing worse things with all the power he has now than he had beforehand. I think Donald Trump is corrupt, since before he had power and during his power, he did a lot of corrupt things, and he still keeps on doing them. Now I'm going to pass it off to Elijah to talk about another corrupt person, Andrew Tate.
Hey guys, it's Elijah here, and I'm going to talk about Andrew Tate and the corruption he's caused. So, who is Andrew Tate, or also known as the Top G? Andrew Tate is a controversial internet personality and former kickboxer known for his misogynistic views and online influence, primarily aimed towards the younger male audience. So, his influence usually promoted hypermasculinity, wealth obsession, and misogyny to his insanely large online following. And he also influenced harmful attitudes like toxic masculinity and disrespect towards women, which often encourage dominance and control in relationships. Something else I want to talk about is what happened to Andrew Tate and his brother, which you will see here in a second. So in Romania, Andrew Tate was charged in 2023 with rape, human trafficking, and forming a criminal group, with his trial approved in 2024. In the U.S., he's under investigation in Florida for trafficking, sexual assault, and money laundering, as of right now. And something that I personally find insane is that Andrew Tate had a Discord server that you would have to pay $50 a month to get into. And I'm going to show you a clip on that right here.
Hustlers University is a scam, and this is why. First off, they have over 240,000 students paying every month to stay inside, so that must mean that it's working for them, because if it didn't, 240,000 students wouldn't have stayed inside.
And so with that, people paid at around $50 a month to be in that Discord channel, and there was around 240,000 people at the peak of his Discord, and so That means that he was raking in $12 million a month. That is insane. That's why it was called Hustlers University, because he was the one that was hustling. And now I'm going to show you a video that talks more about his Hustlers University. And it is with KSI. Granted, he is not the most credible source, but he does make fairly valid points.
Bro, it looks like shit. It's a Discord. You're paying $50 for a Discord. I was watching, I was just like, this is, how are people getting scammed by this?
What's in it? What's like? You download PDFs, right, on how to do it, I think.
The reason I bought it is to hear you say the shit that you want to say.
Is he not saying
He's not
the
even
stuff?
in it. He's not even there. It's some random Donnies just being like, so this is what you, no charisma, no zero, and you're just there like, this is like, feels like school, but more boring.
Okay, I think that's insane how you have to pay $50 a month. First of all, just to be inside of a Discord server. Second of all, to be quote-unquote coached by Andrew Tate whenever it's not really him. That's the one that's telling you it's a random Dark Donnies, as KSI said. And there is something else that I want to talk about, and it's whenever Andrew Tate randomly mentioned Greta Thunberg on Twitter. And he was pretty much just talking about his car collection and how he wants her email address so he can send her a list of his car collection and his respective enormous emissions. And then Greta then replied to him saying, yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldigenergy@getalife.com, which is an amazing response. And then Andrew Tate tried to mock her by tweeting back at her, but he really is just giving off Karen vibes. And majority of people say that Greta is now the top G and Andrew Tate is the little T. And meanwhile, Tate supporters are asking what color your Bugatti is while punching the air. And now I'm gonna show you a funny video that I found of people giving their opinions on Andrew Tate.
Do you know who Andrew Tate is?
I hate that guy. If you are listening, Andrew Tate, you are weird. Trafficker. I'm gonna find you and peg you, Andrew Tate, and stick it in your... Don't even with me, bro.
Okay, she does not need to be yelling at the camera like that, but I respect her passion for it.
You are a loser. Andrew Tate, get the over it. Move on with your life. I don't listen to bold men. Ugly. You suck. I hate you. I think he's a little bitch boy.
He's a face and he can go himself.
Why they angry? He's speaking reality. Why you gonna get mad? Cause he's telling you to treat me like a king.
Now, I am not gonna lie, I did think it was kind of funny whenever that woman said that she doesn't listen to bald men, and then her friend commented that he was bald and ugly. That was pretty funny. And I do agree that that guy at the very end, he did make a fair statement, but he also does promote very unrelated things. Overall, I think that Andrew Tate has caused more corruption than he has support in people, whether that be from his misogynistic culture, his Hustlers University, or his egotistical nature that may rub off onto the younger audience, because younger people are more prone to picking up the attitude and the actions of older people or people that are influencers. So Andrew Tate is a perfect example of that. And now there is just one more thing that I want to show you. I suppose all of you know that Andrew Tate, he was a former dancer, and he was actually quite good at it. Let me show you. I think those videos are absolutely hilarious, and I thought they were for the longest time, and I still think they are. I actually thought that it was actually Andrew Tate in just so you know. It's not actually Andrew Tate, but it really looks like him. And I actually thought it was him the first time I seen it. But without further ado, let's close this video out.
Bro. What are you doing, Cody?
This is an example of one of the celebrities that use their publicity for bad ideas.
Yeah, this is example number 1, Coda.
Coda. He uses
Coda,
the
you
publicity to
low-key
meet
a
with
clout
minors.
chaser. Coda should have been in the Clout Chasers video. He's low-key chasing the clout right now. We haven't quite finished the video yet, but this is the outro. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you're having a great day, great night, wherever you are. And I hope you enjoyed listening to us talk about corruption in general in America, because it is happening a lot. Corruption in the Big 25 is crazy. You guys have anything to add to that?
It keeps on getting worse and worse. It keeps on getting worse and worse by each person. So yeah.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Bye. Thank you for watching the video.
Gangsta.
Here's us.